Should President Biden run again in 2024? Mr. Nadler.
Too early to say. It doesn't serve the purpose of the Democratic Party to deal with that until after the midterms.
Ms. Maloney.
I don't believe he's running for re-election.
I'm focused on winning this majority right now and preserving a majority this year in 2022. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
I'm not talking about the 2022 election and 2024. I have no control over those elections, and I'm not going to talk about them.
I'm working on my own election, and that's all I'm focused on right now.
Yes, it is the question that is tying Democrats in knots when confronted with the reality of supporting one of the lowest polling presidents ever for a second term in 2024. My next guest is the author of a new book, The Price of Principle, Why Integrity is Worth the Consequences. Harvard Law professor Alan Dershowitz joining us right now. Alan, it's good to see you. Congrats on the latest book. I'm going to get to that in a moment. First, though, assess what you just heard. Obviously, President Biden's approvals and his support among his own party is eroding.
Well, he has to make a decision now. He has to decide either to run or to get out and make room for other people. If he doesn't run, the field is very, very wide. There's no obvious candidate. If Trump wins, probably Biden can beat him again. But if DeSantis were to run, probably Biden couldn't beat him. So I think the Democrats have to make sure that the same mistake that Ruth Bader Ginsburg made, not retiring on time and allowing her place to be filled by a conservative Republican, that mistake can't be made. Look, President Biden has been the President Ford of modern day. He's calmed things down. He's stabilized things. Ford was a one-term president. Perhaps the best thing for the Democrats would be if Biden was a one-term president.
Well, let me ask you about all of these approval ratings. There is an issue in every corner of his agenda, even though they are pushing through this spending bill this morning in Washington. What does he need to do to regain support, or is it at this point over? He needs to step aside.
Well, he's done great things in Ukraine. I think he has done good things on domestic policy, gotten some very good things passed. He is not an exciting, dynamic candidate who's going to get things done. He is the candidate who restores normality. And if Trump is going to run, I think that even a low-ranking candidate with essentially moderate views, he won't win, but Trump will lose. So nobody's going to win this next election if it's Trump versus Biden. It will be who has the most negatives and who loses the election. Nobody's going to win that election.
Well, I want to ask you about that because you supported Trump and you were trashed for it in the public. You wrote a book about integrity. We'll slip in a short break and get back to that, talking about integrity and what is going on in the two systems of justice at today's Department of Justice. Stay with us. Alan Dershowitz continues next. Welcome back, and I am back with Alan Dershowitz. Alan, I got to get back to something you just said, because you said Joe Biden was moderate. You said he has moderate policy. You said he's passed some good things. You said he did a good job in Ukraine. I don't know what you're talking about. This is not a moderate president, okay? We have another spending bill that they're negotiating right now, which will likely stoke inflation. And on Ukraine, he offered Zelensky a flight out of there on week one so that Russia would just take over. So I don't know what you're talking about in terms of Joe Biden being moderate, Alan.
Compared to who? Compared to President Trump, who I did not vote for. I defended him against an unconstitutional impeachment, but I didn't vote for him. But compared to President Trump, the current President Biden is a moderate. So is his attorney general.
No, he's not a moderate. He's not a moderate. It's just not true. And I know that's the BS line that Democrats have been trying to sell us since day one during the campaign. But his actions and his policies are indicative that he's not a moderate. But let's move on, because you wrote a book about integrity. And this morning, we're talking all about integrity and two systems of justice. Not only is he not a moderate, but his son has been selling influence, Hunter Biden, and the investigation is continuing there. What do you want to say, and why did you write this book? And what about this Hunter Biden investigation, Alan?
Well, it should go forward. This is my 50th book. I'm proud of the fact that I've written 50 books in my career. This is the most important book I've written because, I'm a neutral, principled person. I defended President Trump. I voted for President Biden. and I am being attacked by both sides because principle doesn't exist today in America. Everything is partisanship. And so I'm going to continue to live a principled life, even if the library in Chilmark, Massachusetts won't allow me to speak, even if the Jewish Democratic Association won't invite me to its events. I'm going to continue to be principled. I'm going to continue to say what I want. I'm going to continue to assess President Biden and fairly and not in a partisan way, as I would continue to assess any Republican candidate. That's not something in America today that's highly desired, which is why I wrote my book, The Price of Principle.
It's what we all want. It is what we all want, Alan, and we thank you for writing about it. Alan Dershowitz, good to see you this morning.